Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into this video, if you're new here, please remember to like, subscribe, turn that notification bell on. We're aiming for 7 likes in this video, and without further ado, let's get into it. Right then, as you've seen in the title, the video that comes once a year, the Premier League predictions. Basically the time of the year where I absolutely make myself look like a genius or an absolute tit of myself. What's going to happen? Please, if you agree with this, leave it in the comments. If you have a totally different opinion, which I believe a lot of you will, then let us know. Let's start with bottom of the league. Who's going to finish 20th? I don't want to say this, but I've got to. I think bottom of the league, Ipswich Town. I just think they won't have enough just to stay up. I could be wrong. I could be massively wrong, but I just can't see a way Ipswich stay in the Premier League, and I just think there's teams that are better than them. That'll just get more points than them. And that's the reason why I've put Ipswich at the bottom of the league. Ipswich fans, I apologise. Please don't hurt us or comment nasty things. I hope you stay up. It would be lovely for you to stay up. I just don't think it'll happen. Let's move on to 19th. And 19th, what I'm actually going for is a team that is getting a point deduction. Leicester City. I think Steve Cooper's obviously the manager now. I think it's a smart appointment. He's kept Forest up in the Premier League before. But with the point deduction and they can't really spend much money, and it could be at least 10 points. I just couldn't see Leicester staying up with a 10 point deduction. I mean, they've got decent players. They've got Fatawu, and Didi. They've obviously brought in a few players as well. And also the link with the likes of Fabio Carvalho from Liverpool. And they've got experienced players like Ricardo Pereira, Jamie Vardy, as I said, and James Justin. But I don't think Leicester will stay up. So 19th, I would love them to. I really like Leicester, but 19th, Leicester City. 18th place now. Interesting one. Nottingham Forest. Bet you didn't see that one coming, did you? No. I know. I don't think they're going to have enough to stay up. They've got Nuno. I don't really rate Nuno, if I'm being honest with you. I think there were some games where Nottingham Forest did play good last season, were slightly unlucky, but looking at the recruitment, I don't really think they're making the right signings. I think they've made a goalkeeper signing which they needed. They signed Elliot Anderson from Newcastle. I just don't know if it's going to be enough to keep Nottingham up. I mean, they could easily stay up, but I'm going to back them to go down, unfortunately. And I would love the big historic teams like Nottingham Forest to stay in the Premier League, of course. I just think they will fall with Leicester into Ipswich. But going on to 17th, this one is going to bite me in the arse, I believe. I had them in relegation, and then I swapped them for Leicester. So, yeah. I went for Brentford. Brentford over the years, they've been absolutely amazing in the Premier League. They come up, great system, great manager, great player like Ivan Toney. Obviously, he's helped them massively. Vissa and Will, and they are a really, really good team. They remind me of when Wolves come up the first time, and they had Jota, they had Acosta, Raul Jimenez. They kind of remind us of that when they first come up, but last season I think you saw a little bit of a drop off. And if they lose Ivan Toney, which I think they could possibly lose him, I think Brentford will struggle, and that's why I've got them in 17th. I think they'll just stay up, maybe skin of the teeth. I think they'll be there or thereabouts all season, because they did struggle to win last season. That's what I noticed about them quite a lot. But they are a good team. They have got a good system. They do play good football. So I could be massively wrong. They could be higher up, but I've got them in 17th. But let's move on to my 16th place team now. And this is a team I think are going to come to the Premier League and actually do okay. I mean, they could go down. I think this team I've put in 16th, I think it can go really good or really wrong. And in my case, I think for them, for the first season back, it's going to be really good. Southampton. I like the manager. They won the playoffs, of course, beating Leeds in the final. They've signed players like Ronnie Edwards from Peterborough. And they've signed some other good players as well. I think they're signed Lallana back as well, so they've got that bit of experience in there. They could easily go down, let's be honest. They could easily go down. They just might not have enough quality. And they won the playoffs. I know they didn't even come up in the top 2. don't think that matters. They've got players like Kyle Walker-Peters. He's a good player. He could easily play for like a West Ham sort of team, Kyle Walker-Peters. They've got the likes of Banzunu in goal, but they've also got like Alex McCarthy, yet again experienced, Stuart Armstrong. I think Southampton will be okay. I really do think Southampton will be okay. I think out of the new promoted teams, Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton, I think Ipswich played the better football last year because it was unbelievable football. But I think Southampton will be okay. I think Southampton will stay up. Might only stay up by a point or two, but I think they'll be okay. Moving on to 15th place now. Drum roll, please. Everton. Everton's a weird club. I mean, they've got Sean Dyche in. He's actually been back to base, been given a bit of money. They've signed the likes of Ilman NDI. They have lost Onana. But when I watch Everton, they didn't really play Onana that much. When I've watched Everton quite a few times last season, he was always on the bench at times. I don't know if it was injury or what, but he didn't always play a lot of games. But it's still a huge loss. He's a great player, and you can see that's why Aston Villa have bought him. They've signed a centre back. I think he's called O'Brien, I believe, from Lyon. 6'5" giant. So they're gonna have O'Brien. I think he was called O'Brien. I could be wrong. I could be sounding like an idiot here, but they've got an Irish centre back, I believe. They've got him and Jared Brownfair, 6'5", 6'6". Everton set pieces. Dwight McNeil to them too. That's Everton next season in a nutshell. Let's be honest. But no, I think Everton will be all right. NDI, good signing. They've signed a few more players as well. I don't think they'll lose Jared Braithwaite now. I don't think that'll happen. I think they'll keep the likes of Pickford. So I think Everton will be okay. I put Everton 15th. I mean, Everton the last few years have been just staying up by the skin of their teeth, but I think they're making good enough signings just to ensure that they will stay in the Premier League again, and then hopefully push on from the next season when they are in their new stadium, because of course this is Everton's last season at the Goodison Park. Moving on to 14th, I think this is going to surprise a lot of people, but I've actually went for Crystal Palace. Great manager in Ollie Glasner, and they had a great end to the season. Obviously, Mateta's firing now, and he's just firing in the Olympics as well. He's a great player. I think he's got a bright future, I'll be honest with you. He's been very, very good. But there's Philogene Mateta, and they've got Eze still. I think Eze will end up staying. It could go, I could be wrong. I think he'll probably end up going. They've lost Elise, replaced him with Ismail Assar. Elise's levels above Ismail Assar. So, I mean, that's one huge miss. I know Elise had injury problems and things like that, but I just think losing Elise is huge. I think that's quite a big part of when Elise was back last year in Ollie Glasner's system. He was unbelievable. He was scoring for fun, assisting for fun. So I think that's a big loss. But there also is a possibility if they're going to be losing Mark Gahey, which I hope they do lose Mark Gahey, because he's meant to be coming to Newcastle. So I would love them to lose Mark Gahey, but losing Mark Gahey, incredible football player, incredible defender, incredible at the Euros. I can't praise that man enough. He's unbelievable. Losing him's going to be a big blow. Of course, they're still going to have the likes like Tyreek Mitchell, Joachim Anderson, Czech Decore, providing they don't lose them, which I don't think they will. But I think 14 for Palace. I think the fans might be a bit like over our 14th place finish. I just don't think they'll have enough to push higher in the league than the other teams do. But moving on to 13th now, I went for Fulham. Fulham have lost João Paulinho. However, they've also brought in Emile Smith-Rowe, and I think that's great business. And Fulham have done quite a decent bit of business. Well, yeah, of course, they lost Tosin Adebayo on a free transfer as well, but they've got the likes of Calvin Bassey. I think they're a bit light in the striker department, Fulham. I think you could maybe swap Fulham. I think Fulham, Palace, Everton, any one of them teams can, in between, from the position of 15th to 13th, I think any of them teams can lapse each other. I think Fulham, if Fulham don't sign a striker, I think that's what will let them down, because I don't think Raul Jimenez is that good, and I don't see Rodrigo Muniz kicking on like it did last season. Could be wrong, but I think they're just a bit light in that striker department. As I said, Emile Smith-Rowe, great signing. Losing Paulinho, it's huge loss. I think they need to go out there and sign a number 6, a much better number 6 now. But I'm going to say 13th for Fulham. This next one might surprise you as well. I went for Brighton. So 12th place Brighton. Lost to Serbia, of course. I think the manager's like 29 or something. I think that it could be alright. I think you'll might struggle this year, Brighton. I really do. I think De Zerbi's a much better manager than the one they've brought in. Recruitment at Brighton is always selling the best players, bringing in young players. They've signed good players like Yakuba Minty. He's a great player. Signed from Newcastle. I wanted Newcastle to keep him, but I just see Brighton finishing in 12th. I can't see them going any higher, but I also can't see them going any lower. So 12th place for Brighton. Moving on to 11th, I've got Bournemouth, and I think Bournemouth fans would be happy with this. Bournemouth, great players, they've got a great manager, and I mean, like, when I say great players, the likes of Solanke, who could be on his way to Tottenham by the time of recording this video, for £65 million. It's a great deal for Bournemouth, 65 million, but do you want to lose Solanke, a great English player? Probably not. So they could lose him. But they've got like Clivert, who was good last year. They've got Favre back, it's a French player. They've got Alex Scott, Sabrini, who's just signed a new contract. I've got good players, Bournemouth, so I think they'll be okay. And I think they'll finish in 11th. A good manager, positive football. I'm going to back them to 11th place. But moving on to 10th, Gary O'Neill's Wolves. Coogan Wolves are a good team. They've got good players. They've got Pedro Neto, if he can stay fit. Matheus Cunha, a great player. They've got Gomez. They've lost Kilman, of course, but I think they'll be alright. They've got Totti at the back. I think I like Wolves. I think Wolves will be 10th. I think you can maybe swap yet again from 12th to 10th from Brighton to Wolves. You could probably lapse each other as well. But I'm going to say Wolves are 10th. They're playing good football, and I'm excited by Gary O'Neill. I think he's a great manager. At 9th, I'm going for West Ham, and that's going to be controversial, I know. They've signed players. They've signed Somerville. They've signed Füllkrug. They've signed Guido Rodriguez on a free transfer. They've signed Kilman, of course, as well. I don't know. I don't know what I feel about Lopetegui. Don't know if I rate him enough to say, yeah, he's going to finish higher than all the other teams. I can't see that happening. He could, and I could be totally wrong. He could get them into Europa League. He could push them to Champions League. Who knows? I don't think he will, though. So I'm going to say 9th West Ham. Could go on a cup run, though. West Ham fans are going to be so angry at that, I can tell already. But hey, it is what it is. There's teams up there that are better than you. So I'm going to say West Ham in 9th. Moving on to 8th. And I really hope this prediction's right, because I don't like the way they're going as a club. I like the fans, don't get us wrong. I don't like the new ownership. I think the ownership's a disgrace. It's Chelsea. I'm putting Chelsea for 8th. Don't really want to talk on the matter much. Buying young players, 8, 9 year contracts, whatever. Sacking managers. Should have kept Pochettino. If they kept Pochettino, I would have been tempted to put them in the Champions League spots. But Maresca, I don't really think he's that good. I don't really rate him. I think Chelsea make a lot of mistakes. And I just think it's going to be a kind of repeat story of last season from when Poch took over, and then at the back end he picked it up, and I thought Poch was the right man. But I think with Maresca, first manager to be sacked, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going for Chelsea in 8th. Moving on to 7th. This one is very controversial. Manchester United in 7th. I'm just looking at our teams, and I think Man U, I can't see a style of play. I can't see what they want to do. Whereas with the teams I've got above them, I can see a clear identity in what them teams want to do. And as I said, I could be horrendously wrong here. Obviously, Lenny Yoro's out for 3 months. They haven't signed De Ligt yet. They've signed Joshua Zirkzee, but I don't know if he's going to light the Premier League up. I think he could. I've left the video. Well, I made a video on him. Go and watch it. It should be on the eye up there. I'll link it into there. Made a video on Joshua Zirkzee. If they can get Rashford firing, then they can go. But will they get Rashford firing? There's lots of different questions for Man United. Can they do this? Can they do that? Is Mason Mount going to be back to his best? Is Rashford going to be back to his best? Is Højlund going to score? Is Garnacho going to kick on? Is Wan-Bissaka going to go? Are they going to sign a right back? Left back, is Shaw going to stay fit? Is it going to have to be Maguire and Evans for the start of the season? Is Onana going to keep making mistakes? To see how many questions it is with Manchester United, there's a lot of questions to be asked. And I don't know if the manager's the right man, if I'm being honest with you. So 7th place, I'm going for Man United, but I think Man U will win the Europa League. So that's going to get Man United into the Champions League. Going on to 6th place now, I have the Champions League, Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa are going to suffer what Newcastle suffered a bit last year in terms of playing in every single competition. Premier League, Champions League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, it does get tough. Villa have got a more in-depth squad than Newcastle, and Newcastle were hit by injuries last season really, really badly. I don't believe Villa get hit by injuries. I think they've got enough players to come in and do a job, and they've got a good manager as well. So I think Villa will get 6th. I think Villa fans would take 6th place with the Champions League. that they'll be played in, so I think that'll be a good finish for Villa. Moving on to 5th, I'm going with Newcastle United, my team. You've got to back your team, don't you? I think you'd be daft if you don't back your team. I mean, I was just looking at Newcastle's squad the other day with additions we could be making. So, Nick Pope in goal, solid goalkeeper, one of the best shot stoppers in the league. Kieran Trippier, Livramento, Botman, Shaw, Mark Gahey, if we sign him, Lloyd Kelly, Dan Burn, Lewis Hall, Joe Willock, Sean Longstaff, Tonali, Joe Linton, Bruno, Almiron Murphy, Isaac Wilson, William Asula. We might sign a right wing as well with Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes. I think that's a good squad. The way Eddie Howe wants to play, that midfield's going to be so crucial for Newcastle. And when you get the likes of Mark Gahey, when you've got a backline of Tino Livramento, Mark Gahey, Sven Botman, and Lewis Hall when Botman's back fit, of course, going to be cooking. 5th place, Newcastle. Hopefully England get the coefficient spots this year and Newcastle clinch Champions League through 5th place. But I really want Newcastle to go out and try and win a cup this year. As I said, we'll play 1 game a week now, and then we'll play close in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. So 1 game a week mags are back. But let's move on to the top 4. Now 4th place. This one is providing they get a striker. It's Tottenham Hotspur. I think Ange will tweak his tactics a little bit. So I think they'll be alright. And I think they'll just nick top 4 Spurs. I could be horrendously wrong here. I really could be. I hope I'm not. Actually, no, I do hope I'm wrong. You fuck Spurs, but nah, I'm joking. But I think anywhere from Man United to Spurs can be. Villa could get there, Newcastle could get there, Man U can get there. It's crazy. So yeah, it's one of them really. So 4th place, I'm going for Spurs. 3rd place now. I don't say this lightly because I think the top 3. I think everyone's top 3 is going to be the same. And I think it's Liverpool. I think Liverpool first season with Arne Slot. If they're saying Zubamendi, definitely nailed on top 3. But I think Liverpool will finish 3rd. Good season for Liverpool, building under a new manager. First season without Klopp. I think the fans probably won't take that because they're a big club, ambitious club. But if they can be competitive in the Champions League and win a cup, I think it's a great season for Liverpool. But moving on to the Premier League champions. So what we'll do here is we'll do our Premier League champions and then 2nd place. The Premier League champions of the 24 to the 25 season will be Arsenal. I'm saying it. Arsenal are going to do it. Great signing so far. Calafiori. I think this is Arsenal's time now. I really do think Arsenal will win the Premier League. Of course, I said this last year and I was wrong. I was just wrong the last game of the season. But I think Arsenal will do it. I think this is Arsenal's year. I think this might be City's fall off. Selling Julian Alvarez, haven't really brought anyone in. Of course, in Manchester City, they don't need to bring anyone in. They've got the best striker in the world. They've got Kevin De Bruyne. They've got the best midfielder in Rodri in the world. They've got Ruben Dias, Edison, of course. Everyone. They've got everyone, but so do Arsenal. Arsenal are going to win the league with Declan Rice and Manchester City to finish 2nd. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like, subscribe and comment with turning the notification bell on. As I said, I want to thank you so much for all the support at the moment. It's all been amazing, so thank you so much. Let me know if you agree. I've probably got some of them horrifically wrong, but to future me, I'll see you in here when we come reacting to these predictions and I'll click an absolute tith. And thank you for everything, guys. I'll see you in the next one.